Shout out to our sponsor, Blue Apron. For less than $10 per meal, Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes with ingredients and step-by-step instructions that make cooking easy. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping when you visit blueapron.com/theknow. Welcome to The Know, I'm Ashley Jenkins. Earlier this month, Microsoft announced Xbox Game Pass, a Netflix-style subscription service that lets users download and play unlimited games for $10 a month, including Xbox exclusives. While many have hailed the program as a potential game changer for consoles, one analyst not so sure it'll have much of an impact at all. That analyst is Michael Pachter, aka the Pack Attack, who says that Microsoft has no chance of being the Netflix of the gaming space. When asked how long it could take Microsoft to replicate Netflix's success, Pachter said, "That's an easy one. Eternity." Ouch. Pachter went on to say, Netflix has 93 million users as of the last earnings report. They're probably going to be at 100 million by mid-year. There's no chance Microsoft get anywhere near that. He then brought up Gamefly as the prime example of someone already doing this in the video game space before with only minimal success. It's not a bad point overall, but dang, Pachter, harsh. Two of this year's most anticipated exclusives, PS4's Gran Turismo Sport and Switch's ARMS, might have had their release dates leaked early by retailers this week. A Finnish retailer listed Gran Turismo Sport as Gran Turismo 7 for sale on April 20th, 2017. Honestly, that date would be a little bit surprising considering it's less than a month away with neither Sony or Polyphony Digital having said anything about when we should expect the game. However, there is a beta underway for the game right now on PSN, and those can sometimes happen a little bit later in development. So we'll see, but don't count on that one. Meanwhile, Switch exclusive boxing game ARMS saw a retail listing on Amazon ES for June 23rd. June would also be a little bit later than some expected for ARMS, considering it's listed by Nintendo as coming in spring. And guess when spring ends this year? June 20th. We looked it up, just to be sure. In the end, these are likely placeholder dates, but at the very least, they may give us a closer window into the release of when both titles are coming. Now, last year, Bethesda announced that Fallout 4 VR would be hitting HTC Vive, but so far, we haven't heard much of an update about the game's progress. Until now. And according to Bethesda's VP of Marketing, Pete Hines, it's going to blow your mind. Hines made these comments in a just-published interview at PAX East with Hop Hop Gamers, saying, "I talked to Todd Howard the other day, and I was like, hey, how's Fallout 4 VR coming? And he said, Pete, Fallout 4 VR is the most incredible thing you've ever seen in your life. You can't even imagine what it's like playing in VR and how realistic it looks with everywhere you turn your head. It's gonna blow your mind. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen." Hines also confirmed the game will be at E3. Now, considering Bethesda previously said the game would be out by the end of June 2017, this might be one of those, like, surprise, it's out now announcements. Kind of like they did with Fallout Shelter, which was really awesome. Now, Nier Automata finally launched on PC over the weekend, but brought with it a host of issues for the platform. Users have reported performance problems, a lack of graphical settings, which makes the game scale poorly for older cards, no multi-GPU support, frequent crashes, and full-screen resolution bugs. With some resounding silence from Platinum Games about upcoming PC fixes, one modder took things into his own hands and created a solution that not only improves the game's performance by between 30 and 60% on modern-day GPUs, which that's a lot of percents. It nearly doubles Nier's performance on older graphics cards and mobile GPUs. DSO Gaming reports that modder Dr. Daxi on Steam tweaked the engine's global illumination solution, resulting in much improved performance for just about every user. The result offers subtle changes to the graphics, but those having trouble running the game might be willing to sacrifice a little bit in the visuals to, actually play the game like bot. Hopefully, an official fix with more robust graphical settings will appear from Platinum Games in the near future. But in the meantime, it's good to have this. Thank you, Dr. Daxi. Here's a fun story about Nintendo and third-party developers. A few years back, Nintendo needed an operating system for its upcoming Switch console, then codenamed NX. So it approached Cyanogen Inc., which is now a major Android software developer, but back then made custom operating systems for anyone who wanted to speed up their Android devices, according to VentureBeat. Cyanogen wasn't apparently thrilled with the idea of working with one of the world's biggest gaming companies, however. According to a tweet from Cyanogen's executive chairman Kurt McMaster, he told them to stick it. Ouch. real professional chairman. McMaster later deleted the tweet without explaining why he told off Nintendo, and the Big N ended up designing a custom operating system for the Switch, which makes sense. Nintendo always does prefer its own IP anyway. It looks like the Terminator franchise won't be back. While there were plans to make a Terminator 6, the New York Daily News reports that Paramount has removed the sequel entirely from its development slate. That's because the last Terminator movie, Terminator Genisys, was kind of a dud at the box office, and in the movie world, that's deadlier than Skynet, which is too bad because just as recently as January, there were rumors of a new Terminator movie in the works. GameSpot reported that Deadpool director Tim Miller was heading the project, and even Arnold himself talked about his desire to return. But Terminator Genisys' disappointing box office take, which only came out to $90 million domestically, apparently put those plans on ice. Reportedly, the rights to the franchise will revert back to the original Terminator maestro, James Cameron, in 2019, and who knows what we'll see then. Now, speaking of once popular franchises, don't expect another Ghostbusters movie anytime soon either. Producer Ivan Reitman, who directed the original, told IO9 that he wished that last year's reboot had been a bigger hit. He said another live-action movie is unlikely for the immediate future, but there is an animated film currently in development. Ghostbusters made $229 million at the worldwide box office, but that apparently wasn't enough to make a sequel happen. It's been estimated that the movie would have needed to make at least $300 million for Sony to break even. So as it is, they lost like millions and tens of millions of dollars. But hey, at least the internet trolls will be happy. You're right, the ladies ruined it. Developers of Rocket League apparently aren't happy that you can now bet on the game in Australia. Recently, GameSpot reported that the platform Yearnerkern, which lets you bet on competitive games, said the game was joining its lineup in Australia after getting approval from regulators there. Yearnerkern also offers betting odds on games like Dota 2, League of Legends, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and more, but Psyonix, the company that made Rocket League, is not really pleased with the news. The developer's VP of Publishing, Jeremy Dunham, told GameSpot, "Psyonix is not affiliated with Yearnerkern, nor do we support or endorse online betting for our game." Gambling aside, it turns out that hitting soccer balls with cars is really, really popular. Rocket League sold 10.5 million copies, and while Psyonix says not to expect a sequel anytime soon, pretty safe bet we'll get one eventually. The US government says that a scammer from Lithuania tricked 2 American tech companies into wiring him, get this, $100 million, according to The Verge. Wow, I mean $100 million! Those Nigerian princes need to step up their game. The Department of Justice said that the 48-year-old man pretended to be an Asian hardware manufacturer and got employees of the companies to deposit millions of dollars in bank accounts all over the world. Government officials didn't identify the companies who got scammed, but described one as, quote, a multinational technology company specializing in internet-related services and products with headquarters in the United States. Okay, so that doesn't narrow it down nearly as much as I'd like. And the other as a multinational corporation providing online social media and networking services. The Lithuanian man was arrested last week. He's been charged with 1 count of wire fraud, 3 counts of money laundering, and aggravated identity theft. Each charge of wire fraud and laundering carries a max sentence of 20 years, so hopefully he saved up enough for a good lawyer. He probably has. That's all the stories we have for you guys today. Let us know what you think of all the news down in the comments. Make sure you like this video, and to get news from every corner of the internet every day, subscribe to The Know. If you're not already. You should be, right? Thanks to Blue Apron for sponsoring this update. Blue Apron helps you become a wonderkind in the kitchen. They offer new recipes for you to try every week with no weekly commitment, so you get deliveries when you want them, and you don't if you're busy. Every meal comes with a step-by-step recipe card and all the highest quality ingredients you need to make your meal in 40 minutes or less. You can check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping when you visit blueapron.com/theknow. There's a lot of good stuff too. There's actually one this week that I want to try. It's a red rice and cauliflower casserole. And frankly, they had me at casserole. I really like casseroles. The leftovers tend to keep, and they're all comfort foody and nice. But there's also, I don't know, there's a mushroom bucatini pasta dish. I'm kind of a sucker for pasta too, so maybe both. I love carbs.